How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about where to farm in terms of EXP. Now, before I do that, I'm just going to tell you right now, this Saturday on, I believe it is October the 8th, I'm going to be doing the first series of Account Bootcamp. It's going to be at 3 o'clock p.m. global server time, which is Pacific. I don't know if it's Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight's time yet. I'm going to assume it's still daylight time for them, since I do believe they're on daylight, the daylight schedule. But it's at 3 o'clock, which is, of course, right now. Right now, that's when it would be when I'm recording this. You see right there on the global server time, it's 1500 or 3 o'clock. So if you just take a look at that when you're on global server, you'll get an idea of what time it'll be at. You can convert it to your own time if you want, but it is Pacific time, okay, global server time. So it's going to be over on twitch.tv/Reafi. We're going to be doing it over there during free rune removal. We're going to pick one person for the day. It's going to be about an hour long. We'll invite them up on Discord if they want to come up on Discord. Make sure you guys are there, and don't forget the minimum requirements. At least be further ahead than Farmer Phil. So cleared TOA. You also can farm Giants B10, that kind of stuff. So going into what we're talking about, this is a very simple topic. It's not going to take very long, but we're just going to be talking about where to farm EXP, and it's just because I've gotten a few questions about it. So when you want to think about where to farm EXP, there's different factors that come into play, but a lot of people seem to confuse different things. A lot of people think it has to do with, one, the amount of time it takes you, and two, how much EXP you gain. Now, in terms of the very, very, very long, very far down the road picture, of course, time and EXP play a huge role in it. So, you look at Fame on Volcano, it gives you about 3,100 EXP. It's like 3,190 total when you have one farmer monster and three farming or fodder monsters that you're leveling up. Then it gives you around 3,000, just above 3,000. Then you go into the Aiden Forest, and it gives you a little bit more, but it takes longer. Then you go into Fair and Castle, it gives you a little bit even more than that, but then it takes longer, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, till you get to Chiruka, where it gives a good substantial amount more than like something like Fame on Volcano, but it takes a lot longer. And of course it's harder, so you're going to probably have to bring a unit that's on Vamp Runes or that's healing, and it's just kind of a little bit of a mess. So I see a lot of people farming Chiruka remains with like Ritesh or a Vampire Trevor and stuff like that, and it takes 2 minutes to do. So if you compare that amount of EXP plus the amount of energy you've wasted and stuff like that, it's lower. It's a lower output than something like Fame on Volcano. Now you're wasting less energy, of course, but you are getting less done in the long run. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do at the time. If you have a inexpendable amount of energy, then yes, of course, you're going to want to do Fame on Volcano as quick of runs possible. Just get it done, and that way you can get as much energy as possible. And it's super fast. It takes anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds to farm Fame on Volcano on auto. It should take only 10 to 20 seconds. You shouldn't be using Camilla to farm or something like super slow like single target. You should be using Alicia. You should be using the Water Homunculus, Teor, Poseidon, stuff like that. If you don't have a unit that can farm Fame on Volcano, you don't have any water units, because Sigmaris can do it, by the way. Sigmaris doesn't take that long. Maybe it takes like 30 seconds for Sigmaris. You can do Aiden Forest with Amir. Amir is very fast. He's farmable. Easy, boom, done. Takes about 30 to 40 seconds with good runes. Maybe 50 to 60 if you have less than optimal runes, but it works. If you have a tanky Amir, you can even go so far as to farm Mount Runar within about a minute, 50 seconds to a minute. Mine takes about 46 to 55-ish seconds in between that field. I know it's kind of specific times, but yeah, no. It is pretty decently fast. Now, if you bring in a super strong Lucian, a big Bertha Lucian, or a very strong Teshar like, let's say, Fwaz Teshar or Corrosive, they can do it in about 30 to 40 seconds. It's faster, but it's less consistent because most Teshars have lower HP because of the base HP being lower, and then they're harder to get that crit rate up because they don't have that crit rate bonus. So just keep that in mind. It's less consistent than Amir, but it is faster. Same thing goes with as well with the Lucians. So you're probably wondering why I'm focusing on these last 5. This is actually the biggest factor when you're deciding on where to farm. You're looking at these last 5 and you're like, well, if it's all about clearing it as fast as possible, why don't I go down to like hit any ruins where I can do it in like 7 seconds with Lucian? Well, here's the thing. When you look at the EXPs and the drops and stuff like that, you'll notice, boom, it drops a 1 star, and it drops 1 stars quite often. boom, it drops a 1-star again. And you go to Ferocious, and boom, drops a 1-star. Up until you reach Fame on Volcano, where it does not drop any 1-star monsters, which is very, very nice. Which means if you're ever going to be getting fodder drops instead of mana or, runes for the mana that you just sell to get mana, then you're going to be getting fodder that you can level up. Boom, you got 3 stars because you've got 2 stars. You level them up to level 20. Then you evolve them. Boom, now you got 3-star fodder. Same thing with the 3 stars. You level up to 4-star. Boom, you got 4-star fodder. So you'll want to at least be on Fame on Volcano. Once you're at least at Fame on Volcano, that's where you start deciding, am I very strong on the water units? Am I very strong on the wind units? And it's kind of hard to decide because the only place that you can really farm with fire units with absolute consistency and it's really unique is Faron Castle. You can do it in Fame on Volcano, but you're better off with water units. They're more consistent because they got that crit rate bonus. Then they also got that crit rate reduction when the enemies are attacking. It's just a lot more consistent with a water unit. Now when you go to Faron Castle, you can actually do Faron Castle 1 where it's all wind units, okay? So the last stage is going to be all wind units. Boom. Then you bring in a fire unit and you just farm it. But you will need a little bit more HP than you think because it's harder than Aiden Forest. But, there will be some fire units here and there. I'm fairly certain when I do it with Zyros. We can actually do one right now on Hell mode. And I don't think my Zyros has actually enough to do it. He might have just enough. But, yeah, this is something you need to be careful about. Now, when you're farming anywhere above Aiden, you got to make sure that you got a decent amount of HP. So right here, it's only wind units so far. It might be okay. You also have to keep in mind that they put on attack break and defense break on this specific area. So yeah, I think we are actually going to die because even though they're wind units, they're going to be putting on defense break. They're going to be lowering HP. They're going to be doing quite a number on Zyros. He's almost halfway down, and he hasn't even got to the second stage. So okay, so it is all wind units, but they do got defense break and attack break, so they can actually kill you if you're not prepared enough. So also, it's very recommended if you're going to be doing farming reps. I would suggest doing something at least on violent runes or on rage or some type of set that's going to contribute more specifically towards the damage. So, for example, I wouldn't want to use Zyros for farming specifically. Not optimal because he's on despair runes, mainly because you're trying to one-shot the enemies, not stun them. So it's not a big deal if he is. It's just kind of a letdown. It's not really going to be contributing anything. Whereas if I have something on Rage Blade, or if I have it on Fatal, or let's say I have it on Violent Runes, and he doesn't one-shot someone, then he can Violent proc, and boom, kill him, go to the next stage. That kind of thing. Whereas the other ones contribute to the damage. Now you're probably wondering, well, you're a Mirza rep, and he's not on any of those. He's on Swift. And the reason I do that is so I can have all of his damage stats up there. Boom. His crit damage is pretty high up there. His attack power is pretty high up there. He's got really good HP. And then the Swift runes just help keep that speed up. So in a way, it is keeping his damage up, especially because it scales with the first skill. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an example. And of course, he's got 20k HP, which helps him survive all the way up until Mount Runar. So that's about it. That's seriously everything that you guys need to consider. You need to consider what type of attribute reps you have. I know it's pretty straightforward, but a lot of people have been asking about it as well. Now, one thing I want to talk about, guys, please stop sending me emails about getting entered into the account boot camps. I already said it's going to be randomized. I've probably answered over like 300 or 400 emails already in the past couple weeks, just answering, hey, this is going to be randomized. They're sending me their account info. They're like being like, hey, put me on the next, where you can review my account, mess with my rooms. I'm like, it's randomized. It is randomized. It's not, you don't send me that stuff. What if they sent it to the wrong email and it's a phishing email? Like if they put 1L instead of 2 in Philip because it's refi.philip. Well, now you just send it to someone else and now they have your account information. Congrats. You're going to get your account stolen and I have no responsibility for that. Okay? So stop sending me your account info for the for the account boot camps because I'm not taking that, all right? I'm not taking any of those into consideration. It's going to be randomized on stream. I'm going to pick some viewer from the stream, and it's going to be at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, okay? Pacific Time. So right here, boom, bottom right, there it is, okay? Got it. I'm sorry. It's just really frustrating to get all of these emails consistently when I've already stated multiple times that it's going to be randomized. All right, guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. It's going to be quite a series. If you guys can't make it to that time, I'll try to switch it around to have it the most convenient for stream times, but they will be streamed. I think it's just a much better choice. I'm sorry, it has to be streamed, but it will be uploaded later onto YouTube. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. It's just a little bit of a chat. If you have any questions, make sure you leave in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.